Thank you for the introduction. I am very happy to be part of the Youth for Sustainability Forum and delighted to have a conversation with Dima Sayess from Strategy and to share her thoughts and views in a topic that matters to all of us, the trends shaping the youth in future. As you know, we are living during unprecedented times. Technological advances have accelerated changes in all sectors and industries and fast-tracked the arrival of Industry 4.0, which will further change the nature of work and require new skills and competencies. So investing in youth and guiding them to the direction of the future will help them more relevant for the economy. So my first question to you, Dima, is what are the driving forces that will shape the future jobs and skills over the next decade?
Thank you, Fatima. Pleased to be here today. So there are a number of megatrends that will shape the future of jobs and skills, and these have been accelerated by COVID. We see primarily technological advancements and the need for speed in Industry 4.0, and this will have several implications. Firstly, it will have implications on the employment opportunities. While technology will cause losses in jobs due to automation, I believe the fourth industrial revolution will have tremendous effects and opportunities if harnessed properly. It will force industries and sectors to reinvent themselves. They have to actually invent new products, services, and business models. It will also introduce new industries and sectors, and this is something we've seen lately, as Industry 4.0 has been applied to multiple sectors, such as biotech and agri-tech and telehealth, among others. So studies see that while around 75 million jobs might be lost due to automation, there might be around 133 million jobs that could be created. However, to be able to tap into this opportunity, we need massive upskilling and reskilling, as we envision around 75% of the jobs of the future require advanced digital capabilities. And as such, we expect that around 50% of the labor force will need to be upskilled and reskilled. Secondly, the definition of the workplace. We saw with COVID that there has been a rapid shift to digital and remote working, and we expect this to be the new normal, especially as studies show around 20 to 25% of jobs can be actually done remotely, especially in advanced economies. Thirdly, the rise of the gig economy. And what this means is that there will be increasingly opportunities to flexible work arrangements and increasing need for freelancers. Actually, as organizations and firms shift to agile models, they will probably tap into and form talent clouds. These talent clouds will enable them to actually tap into employees on a needs basis. Fourth, entrepreneurship. Probably the generation that is entering into the labor market now is the most entrepreneurial yet. They value their creativity. They value actually working in areas that fuel their sense of purpose, fuel their innovation, fuel their individuality and their freedom. Therefore, we see more and more increasing number of social enterprises being created. At the same time, these technological shifts will disrupt education and training and the way they are delivered. So we already see a trend and a shift in e-learning, an increasing uptake in lifelong learning and micro-credentials. We also see that the nature of skills that are required are changing, so that we are more focused on cross-disciplinary skills. And therefore, there is increasingly a need to actually enroll in STEM disciplines. These are the trends at the technological level. But also beyond that, we see increasing importance on well-being. I mean, COVID was a big wake-up call that we all need to be very much invested in our physical and mental health. And this will be actually trickled down into companies. And we see this shift already. We see companies investing in 360 employee wellness. They're recruiting more coaches and more well-being experts. They're also providing services that didn't exist before, such as childcare, healthcare, elderly care, among others. We also see employees valuing more than their own well-being and prioritizing work-life balance, even sometimes at the expense of lower paid wages. Also beyond that, we see increasing emphasis on social protection and social inclusion. And while some demographic shifts will cause, for example, the youth bulge will cause probably youth unemployment, and the increasing life expectancy will cause more elderly to be in the labor market for longer. What this means is that we need to focus more on providing the right social safety. At the same time, we expect a rise in the she economy. And what this translates is increasing emphasis on gender parity. And as such, we expect more women to join the workforce and more women to take on more senior leadership roles.
Thank you, Dima, for your great inputs. My second question will be, as youth at the beginning of my career journey, and for young people who seek opportunities, what are the most important required skills that will make us thrive and succeed in fulfilling the future jobs?
As a youth, you have a unique opportunity today to devise your own education career path and your own curriculum, your own jobs that meet your interests and your passions. So my advice to you is, firstly, stay ahead of the employment curve. Be creative, be innovative, be very mindful of all the career pathways and alternative career pathways that are existing. Be also aware of the rising and emerging industries and sectors, and invest in coaching and in career guidance. Also network with other people in the job market that are across sectors. Let's check with them what are the interesting trends out there, how their experiences are. Secondly, invest and be very mindful in having a very solid toolkit. So be an early adopter of the skills of the future. And here maybe I summarize them by 5 main skill categories. Firstly, cognitive skills. This is your creativity, your critical thinking, your problem solving capabilities, your design and systems thinking. Secondly, your soft skills. These encompass leadership, collaboration, teamwork, agility, resilience, and communication. Thirdly, and very importantly, are the digital skills. And these include data analytics, AI, machine learning, and robotics. And fourthly, your technical skills or industry-specific skills. And these might surface due to increasing demand for certain industries, sectors, or functional capabilities. So you might want to be a go-to person in biotech, or agri-tech, or space engineering. What's very important is that to hone these skills so that you have competitive advantage and specialization in these skills. And last but not least, your physical and functional skills that will allow you to properly function and that will enhance your well-being. But what is very important is that to keep honing those skills and continuously be on the lookout of what are the trends, because especially in an emerging environment, the skills are totally shifting, and therefore invest in lifelong learning and micro-credentials. Beyond that, register in internship opportunities with big corporations and the private sector and big tech. Also, register in digital boot camps and hackathons. Network with innovators and like-minded people who will spur your innovation. Also, seek entrepreneurship opportunities. There are so many ideas out there that haven't been tapped. There are so many evolving sectors and industries that haven't been tapped. Who knows? You might be the next founder of the next unicorn. So what's very important is to keep on the lookout of these entrepreneurship opportunities. Try to seek what are the financing and the support mechanisms out there, and register in competition that will allow you even to test these options.
Thank you very much for enlightening our youth and their acquired skills in future jobs. As you mentioned, we have cognitive skills, soft skills, digital skills, and etc. I think it's really important skills to the future. My final question to you, Dima, will be, how can decision makers and organizations sustain the youth talent growth and create more socio-economic opportunities?
This is a very interesting question, Fatima. So to sustain this growth, we need to focus on 2 angles. Firstly, we need to create the labor demand. And secondly, and equally important, we need to ensure that we're matching the labor supply to the labor demand. To be able to create labor demand, governments need to redefine the economic growth model, focusing more on diversification, focusing more on economic opportunities that are sustainable, competitive, and that will boost their productivity. And as such, it's very important to expand into the high value add sectors that will boost their export promotion capabilities, to establish domestic value chains, to invest in R&D. Beyond that, it's very important to foster private sector competitiveness. And to do that, we need to relax many of the regulations that constitute barriers to entry to the private sector. We also need to provide regulatory sandboxes that will allow innovators and startups to test their innovative ideas. We also need to provide a supporting ecosystem for SMEs and startups. These may encompass access to financing, infrastructure opportunities, facilities, and business support. But having the business demand is not enough. What we need to do is the matching and providing adequate labor supply that is future-proof and future-ready. And to be able to do that, we need to relook into our education models so that they are more anticipatory, they are more resilient, they are more flexible. To do that, we need to actually invest highly in early childhood education and lifelong learning. We need to invest heavily in education curricula that are adapted to the labor market needs. They should include experiential learning. They should also provide opportunities for flexible pathways that adapt to the needs and the capabilities and interests of individuals. We also need to invest heavily in EdTech, because as we've seen, learning is not constrained to the boundaries of classrooms and schools. Learning should be anytime, anywhere. And as such, it's extremely important to also partner with EdTech companies that will be able to provide these courses and these skills. What's also important is the partnership with the private sector. Firstly, to identify what are the emerging jobs and businesses, but also to provide internship opportunities and shadowing opportunities for the labor supply. Underpinning this labor demand and labor supply issue, we also need to focus on a set of enablers. And these encompass tapping into the power of digitization, onto foresight and predictive analytics that will allow us to anticipate the needs and to match demand and supply. We also need to relook into the social protection mechanism so that the youth and the elderly can have adequate safety nets, such as unemployment benefits, adequate pensions, among others. We also need to give a voice to the youth, and this is primarily through engaging them through participatory platforms into co-designing and co-delivering both the youth policies as well as the youth services.
Thank you so much, Dima. It was really an inspiring session with you. Thank you for who's listening, and take care of yourself and stay safe.
Thank you so much, Fatima, and all the best.
Thank you.